Today's class, we are teaching you how to hang an ellipsoidal reflector spotlight, also known as an ERS, which is this light right here. It has the most capabilities for traditional lights that we can use for our theaters. Step one to hanging the ERS light or any light is to get the C-clamp around the batten and then finger tighten the C-clamp. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey with the bolt. Now if I wiggle it even a little bit or I were to walk away, it's still pretty safe. Second step to make it even safer is to attach a safety cable. These cables are aircraft cables, and the easiest, quickest way would be to go around the yoke and the batten, connect them together. Another option, you can watch Maryvale's video, Mr. Shanahan's video of actually connecting it to the lighting instrument for another safe way. Next step, we want to physically tighten the bolt. Maybe a half turn. And then I still notice a slight wiggle in the light, which tells me that the bolt underneath or this little bolt maybe needs to be tightened. So that's a different size of the wrench. And because it's upside down, righty-tighty actually looks like lefty-loosey. Now my light is much more sturdy. Final step before we focus the light is to actually plug in our light. We have twist locks, and a twist lock, all of the little prongs are different sizes, and one of them actually looks like an L or a J, depending on how you see it. So you connect those two together and then twist it, just a slight little twist, and you'll notice that our light then turns on. Our next step is to focus the light. Traditionally, we would focus our light somewhere on stage where an actor is performing. Right now, I'm just going to focus it onto our cyc so you can see all of the capabilities it has. So what we need to do is to point it at the location, and you do that by loosening the yoke bolt or the tightening bolt, and then this entire light can pan. And I'll point it at our cyc, followed by tightening. With that light, there's a lot of capabilities. There's these 4 little metal pieces called shutters. And when you shutter cut the light, everything is backwards. There's a mirror on the inside. So the top shutter, if you notice, will actually cut the bottom shutter. The right shutter cuts the left, and so on. And that way, if you have maybe like a house scene and you just want a square on your stage, you can point just a square on whatever scenery you have. Another piece, and it does look pretty good right now. Usually with different distances or throws, the light won't look as crisp as it does now. It might look blurry. And there's 2 different ways to be blurry. You can drop the barrel, we can bring in the barrel, or you can focus it perfectly to get that blue crisp line. And then we tighten it with the bolt by the barrel. Then, for most shows, we might add a color or a gel, just like a filament of color, almost like a plastic piece, and then the gel frame. We slide the gel in, weasel it around, and then at the very end of the barrel, you will slide in the gel. I chose a gel that barely changes. So we'll slide in the color gel, and then we'll clamp it or clip it closed by just this spring load piece in the front, pushing it sideways and dropping it down. So now we have a gel. And then maybe dance concerts or fun scenery locations, Wizard of Oz, or a scene of clouds on the cyc. We have gobos, just a metal pattern. It is and can get hot once it's in the light. Then we have the Gobo Holder, and we slide that into its space as well. Being very careful, this one has a lot of sharp little turns, so we don't want to rip the gobo. Then we have the gobo ready, and the gobo is inserted about in the middle of the ERS on the top as well, so that it doesn't fall on performers. If it were to come from underneath, it might fall down. And if you look at the light, you'll see it coming from the bottom because the top shows up as the bottom. So earlier I focused the light to what I thought was a crisp blue edge around the circle. Now that we have a gobo inside, we can tell that it's not focused for the gobo. So I'll go back to the barrel and loosen the bolt and then find the right point where it's crisp. So this looks pretty good. If I were to drop the barrel, it gets fuzzier and fuzzier and you can't even see it. Or bring in the barrel, it also gets fuzzy again. So I find that right point and I tighten it. So we've done all of our parts. We've hung our light, we've safely connected it and bolted it together. We've focused it to where we want the performers or the scenery, and then we've added a gel for some color and a gobo for some texture. And you have officially hung and focused a light.